Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again to the old chartage. How's your weekend been? Mine's been all right. Considering that Blackrock has been at it again. Blackrock does the dirty again and dumps quite a bit of Bitcoin, guys, and it's not nice. It's not nice. If you remember last week, we had around 500,000 in the Bitcoin ETF, and now we don't. So that tells you what? That tells you retail isn't, well, the guys in the ETF don't have diamond hands. In today's live, we're going to break it all down for you. We have a very interesting week this week, okay? We've got the CPI data coming out. We're going to be talking about that very shortly. We're going to be talking about this story with the BRICS. What's going on? But there's a little twist in this BRICS story. Trump has, of course, told them, you try and do anything regarding the dollar, and I'm going to put you to the test and give you 100% on all tariffs. Like, that's kind of scaring them. But there is an alternative. We'll be diving into that very, very shortly, guys. So I hope you're all doing well. Let's get to it, because I've got a couple of trades on right now, and I'm paying close attention to them. And I just really need to be looking at them because it can go the other way, and you don't want to leave money on the table. So if you are new, welcome to the live stream. My name is Tino. We're back to it all. Let's have a conversation, guys. Here we go. So look, here I am right now. I've just got this. Let me just sort everything out here. Here we go. So right now I'm in longs on Bitcoin, and I've got to start taking them. Got a nice little return here on Bitcoin. I'm using a bit of leverage, $2,208 on Bitcoin. Move to the upside. My entry was around the 98,131 region. I'm also in longs on Ethereum as well. And I'm effectively trying to play with the idea that I'm going to be seeing Bitcoin trying to move up a little bit more, because there is a nice order sat around this range. You've got 99,300, which is, there's around $2 million worth of Bitcoin up there. But if I look left, I know there's around $9 million worth of buy orders that have come into the market, which means that if it does hit that point, then there could be the possible continuation higher. So I've got to really play with these ranges, especially with the position that I'm in right now. So if it does continue with its narrative to the upside, then happy days. But if it does start to break down and I'm looking at the depth of market, then I'm probably going to be leaving money on the table. And I don't really want to do that. I want to pay myself. I'm using enough leverage as it is. And that's what I mean with leverage. Use their money, not yours. Okay, my average, well, I used $728 on the Bitcoin trade. Now we're up $2,344. And then I used $473 on the Ethereum trade. And we're now $392 up in the green. Okay, so I'm very, very tempted to just get, I mean, I've got movement right now on Ethereum, okay, like right here from XO charts. I'm paying close attention to the order flow right here. And if I can see Ethereum and Bitcoin make a move to the upside, then I'm only going to hold on to, here we go. We've got some movement right now on Bitcoin. It's starting to make a little bit of a move. So whilst that's doing that, the reason why I took the trade from down here is because I saw something on the order flow with Bitcoin all the way down here. And what did I see? Well, I'm starting to see some bids coming into play in this range. And I talk about this in the weekly review that I've just done, where I broke down an Ethereum trade and I was explaining to the guys why I took the trade on Ethereum. It was a live trade when I did it. I don't like to trade the weekends, but I saw the opportunity and I wanted to show the guys exactly my thought process on that. So if you want to check that out, it's in the Platinum membership on the weekly review. Go check that out. It's pinned to the top of the chat when you become a member. Now, what's the story across the board, ladies and gentlemen? Well, this is what I'm talking about right now. I mean, look at that balance right there. That is absolutely disgusting. 318,000 in the Bitcoin ETF. They have now stepped down as the largest holder of Bitcoin next to good old Satoshi. And that puts now MicroStrategy as the top dude that owns 2% of it. Well done. Of course, you're going to own more of it if you're not selling it. What's been going on in the state of crypto, guys? I'm going to get to something about that very shortly, but something I want to draw your attention to. China's trying to attack Nvidia for breaches of anti-monopoly law. I'm telling you now, man, like the way that Nvidia is going to drop is if a lawsuit is passed All right. And this is a problem. China's got bigger problems, ladies and gentlemen. And one of them being that they've just recently declared that they're going to be a little bit more flexible with their monetary policies. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's just show you what it means right here. And how does this impact the world? In front of you is a chart that shows you the China and the US 10-year bond yield spread against the dollar and the yen, whatever they want to bloody say, I never get it right. So what does this show me? Well, it shows me straight away. If you don't understand, I'm going to show you now. You see these yellow bars right here? That tells me the difference between the spread on the yen yield, on the yen yield, and the US dollar yield, okay? China right now is trying to get everyone's interest in Chinese bonds, and it's not working. It's not. But China's also doing some dirty business. They're also selling bonds, US bonds, that they hold to the Saudis. Now, you may remember me talking about this. You better just sit tight. You may remember me talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And why is that a problem? Because they can offer it at a cheaper rate than what the dollar is. And that's undermining the dollar. So maybe these maneuvers that China's doing is all because they're trying to potentially hedge themselves against these tariffs that are coming into play with Donald Trump. Okay? So as long as the spread's there, they're going to be doing things to make sure that they can try and compete by getting enough people to buy their US bonds to undermine the US dollar. I guess it's all chess, ladies and gentlemen. That's the bloody truth right there. Now, going into it all, guys, let's having a look at what's going on in this cryptocurrency space. Yes, I know Blackrock dumping so much crypto is a bit of a problem. I just need to pay attention to something right now. Bitcoin is, has it done the move? Yeah, it's doing the move right now. I just need to monitor my positions right now. Okay, so we're doing all right. We're doing okay with this trade right now. $3,248. I am using a lot of leverage. I'm using BTCC, of course. But I'm very tempted to just get out. I don't have any. Well, we're close towards that 99,300. I haven't taken it just yet, but I'm very reluctant to just kill the trade because I hate leaving money on the table. Okay, so I'm gonna pay attention to it very. You know what? By the principle of the hybrid system, we've got the psychological ranges right now. The green vector candle seems like it's adding as an area of support. They're breaking the 50 EMA. But the problem that I've got is this thing right here. You see that? That sort of behavior right there. They marked price up to then roll it over, okay? So this could potentially lead to a vector candle appearing here to then roll over. That could be the case. But they might even roll over beforehand because the market's now going to come to the news and be like, oh my God, look, Blackrock has sold so much Bitcoin ETF. What's going on? And I'm telling you, Wall Street doesn't have diamond hands. They don't believe in that BS. To them, it's BS. To us, it's the truth. I went onto X earlier on this morning and I saw a conversation with a guy who was like, I've sold all my Bitcoin holdings. And everyone was like, how dare you for selling your Bitcoin holdings, man? This could be the bottom for Bitcoin. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? The guy wants to make a little bit of change, man. Why should that be a problem? Now, I get everyone in crypto is like, hoorah, Bitcoin and what have you. Don't let go of it. It's going to be really, really valuable in the future. Naturally, that's what you expect. But some people want to take money off the table. They want to pay themselves. They enjoy taking from the market, you know? And that's the truth. Here we go. I got a bit of a question here. Tino, with 400X, how would you cut the trade in case it doesn't go your way? Don't you get liquidated right away if the price barely goes below your entry? Well, no, not really. I mean, I used what? $728, and the balance was roughly around about $7,500. Okay. So for me to really get liquidated, I would have to let it go aggressively against me. Okay, and just sit there with a burning trade. What's the point in that? Okay, look at my entry. My drawdown at most was around $600-700. I can absorb that. I'm cool with that because I accept how much am I prepared to lose. Max, I'm prepared to lose about $2,000 on the trade. I'm happy with that because if I know I'm capturing a certain move based on the way I'm reading the chart, then principally the trade should be working in my favor. If I'm not making money within the first 15 minutes of taking the trade, well, technically it should be the first 2 hours, but in the first 15 minutes of placing a trade, if I'm not making money or prices still or trying to get away from my entry point to the favor of the upside, then I might be in the wrong trade. That's where I will cut it. Yeah, fees might hurt me and what have you, but I improve the odds of a trade happening in my favor by reacting when the moment in the market that people think, go short, that's when I go long. That's why I'm taking trades down here at the lows of the point in the way price develops. A red vector candle came into play on Bitcoin. I'm paying attention. It moved away from the 50 EMA. Look, down here. And then what happens? After they swept the Asian session low, I was like, oh, there's a green vector candle. That was my entry point. The candlestick, I took it just before the entry because before the entry, I noticed that there was a big order on the depth of market. So if I go over to it, it's inside of this range right here. This is where I'm taking my trades, inside of these ranges. I'm paying attention. Look, there's a big fat order down there. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I've got to do something about that. Okay. And I managed to capture the reversal to the upside. That's how, and that's what I do. And I do not hesitate to take a trade. I'm in acceptance of what can happen, because most people take trades. They can't accept to be wrong. And that's where you're wrong, because you have to accept you can lose. And as long as you're happy with that, there's nothing stopping you in this game. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? Nah, I'm done. I'm closing this. I like to pay myself. Close. Let's get that. I can't concentrate. I'll be straight with you. I can't pay attention. And this is where we are over the weekend, basically. So Saturday, we took a trade on Ethereum, 440X. We cleared $3,122. And then we took the trade this morning, $2,949. Happy days. And now we just had a nice little $321 with the fees and what have you afterwards on Ethereum. I would have expected Ethereum to move more. And you know what? Even if it does go up in my favor, I don't care. I came, I saw, I conquered the vector, and I walked out. I'm not out to try and grab the biggest of the move. It's no interest to me. I don't care. I came in and asked, maybe I can exploit this. I did. And then the market says, congratulations, Tino, you've exploited it. Now what you going to do? Well, I'm going to sit there and take screenshots and then chuck it over to X. Look at me with my win. BS. Been there too many times. What's the point? If it's floating, doesn't make sense. Now, if you bought Bitcoin at 20,000 and you screenshots at the current price point, you're laughing, bro. But I'm a day trader. I'm a scalper. I have to take from the market, okay? And as long as I keep taking from the market when it delivers the product to me, happy days. That's what it's all about. I'm not interested in glorious runs. I'm interested. I can come to the chart today, and the best part, 3, 5, 6, just under about 6K in trading. Done. What have I got to complain about? Oh, it went more, Tino. You could have made more. No, I couldn't. I didn't know I could make more. And as long as I've got that in my mind, then I'm not going to set myself up for madness. You know? Be humble with what the market gives you. You know? If you're earning a specific amount of money in a trade and it happens very quick, then look to the person that has to work for a month to only receive a quarter of what you're making. So if I make 5 grand in minutes or in a couple of hours, what about the person that has to work every single day for 30 days to receive a similar amount or even less and get taxed on top of it? You've got to be humble with what the market gives you, ladies and gentlemen. You have to. Putting it into a humble situation right now. Going over with what's going on with cryptocurrency, I want to draw your attention to this. So Trump, effectively, if you're familiar with this, Trump has fired warning shots at all the guys in the BRICS, okay? Don't bother undermining the US dollar. Then this happens. Courtesy of Bitcoin Archive. First, Russia is lifting the ban. China, now Iran. If the BRICS is smart, if they're smart, which they probably are, they're not going to create a new currency. Use one that's already free to everyone. Use one that will allow you to step in and pick up as much of it as you want. Because what did Putin say? You can't break Bitcoin. You can't do nothing to it. You can't cut it off. All right, an EMP, which he'd probably throw. But if they're smart, they will use cryptocurrency. So that keeps Donald Trump quiet. Don't worry about the US dollar. But then what does that do? It forces the United States to start stepping up the game and passing that bill of the US government buying Bitcoin and applying it as a strategic reserve currency. Forget creating your little currency, petrodollar, and coming away from it all. Like, what the hell? Try and utilize Bitcoin. That's what my theory would be. And that's what's going on right now, you know? Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, Amazon shareholders are pushing for Bitcoin holdings to protect against inflation. Starting to come into play now, isn't it? Wall Street applying the idea of how do I protect myself against inflation? Well, look, when it comes to the idea of an ETF, I've got a suggestion for you all, okay? And that is, in principle, ETFs, okay? So I'm currently in the process of, I'm going to put some money together and effectively, what was that? I'm effectively going to build a ETF, okay? Now, this ETF is not going to be, I'm just going to go all in with Bitcoin. No. The way you trade or create or purchase an ETF, because most people will buy an ETF and they will rely on the holdings of the ETF to perform well. So example, if you go and buy yourself an iShares Core S&P 500 ETF, this is what you're holding. You're holding Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, the Magnificent Seven are all in there. But you are limiting yourself to the tech sector, which is very subject to changes in interest rates. That means the 10-year and the 2-year yield. So if we go over to the 10-year and 2-year yield, you can see that the 2-year yield is climbing up 4.1%. And then, of course, the 10-year yield is coming up to 4.178%. Okay? So with that being said, I'd look at this and think, what can I do to really offset that? Okay? So what I'm effectively trying to achieve is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking to try and build an ETF that is made up of assets that are effectively going to cover the idea of inflation, to cover the idea of a crash in the marketplace, okay? So I can split it up with US equities. I could be doing something like this. So I'll buy some of the holdings of an S&P 500. I could go into foreign international equities where I can use Vanguard's FTSE All World Index. I can use that one, okay? I can also, what else can we go into? We can go into certain sector specifics like healthcare or transportation or defensive ETFs, okay? Then I can go into something more fixed income, which would be the bonds, okay? So when I'm doing that, I can then say to myself, okay, then I've got myself a diversified portfolio of ETFs that are made up of products within the ETF that are subject to changes around the world, macroeconomically speaking, okay? The mistake I think a lot of people do is they go and find an ETF and think, yeah, man, I'm going to get this because I want to buy all the stocks that are involved in this ETF, but I don't want to spend all the money on it, so I'm going to get this ETF. I think that's wrong. The way you got to do it is you got to use an ETF and build it as a portfolio and consider the way you would build a portfolio of stock, use it as the same way you would as an ETF, okay? And that's something that I'm looking to create very, very soon, going into the new year, chuck a few grand at it and just hold it and see how it goes and just bounce between certain sectors. I think we're going into the idea of where the bonds could be coming into play again. So I'm going to try and see if I can have it weighted more towards the idea of fixed income security purchases. But when I get to that situation, I'll understand exactly where I'm at with that. Okay. Going into other assets before we start going into cryptocurrency news, you've got Israel takes more Syrian territory and hits chemical weapons sites. So that probably would explain why gold itself is currently trading at 1.19% for the day. So people have woken up and said, oh man, I'm not liking this. And they've now made their way over to gold. Gold has now naturally just hit the range daily high. It's done a fantastic move to the upside. And now we're going to go into a little bit of Bitcoin to understand where we are. So I'm glad I closed off my short, off my trade on Bitcoin. It has made a little bit of a move up, but I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's done now. It's finished. Okay, so what have we got going into the markets today? Well, let's just go over to the daily time frame to understand exactly where we are. Bitcoin is at the high and it has now breached the 5 EMA. Now for holders, okay? For holder, I'll answer your question in a second. Right, let me just answer this question and I'm going to get onto a holders discussion. Tina, if I may ask, how many hours do you spend looking at charts in a day? Do you do anything else? How does your average day look like? Frankly, all I do is just look at charts all day. I'm literally, if you guys need me to look after your assets in the principle of a nursery where you send your children to be looked after, that's me, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 449 ultra wide screens right there, okay, that I trade on. And then you've got these 4 screens here, and then we've got another 3 in the corner over there. These could all have assets on, and I can just sit back and just watch them all and send myself absolutely crazy. My day does consist of just staring at things all the time. That's how I manage to practice and understand certain behaviors of Bitcoin, Ethereum, NASDAQ, S&P. I pick a couple of assets. I talk about these assets all the time. And I have a little bit of an expectation of what they're likely to do on shorter time frames, okay? The bigger picture of certain time frames takes a little while. Like, for example, right now, the daily time frame is breaking the 5 EMA on the higher time frame. So this is very important for the holders, okay? X on the street is all talking about, that's it now, Bitcoin's going to be done. This is the actual low, but I've got a problem because BlackRock has offloaded too much Bitcoin. That's too much for me, okay? And this isn't FUD. This is facts. Go to Friday's live. That was at 500,000. Now it's 318. Roughly 182,000 ETF Bitcoins have been removed. Where is it now? Where is it? You know? And that's what I'm trying to convey to you all. Avoid going into the thinking that Diamond Hands is going to hold Bitcoin's price. No. Wall Street is telling us when Bitcoin's price is going to go to one point to the next. Remember, last week we spoke about it. The OGs of the Bitcoin, they ain't around anymore. They've made their money, man. Maybe Bitcoin can continue higher. Maybe. You know? Switch it off, darling. It's all right. Turn it down. Turn it down. That's the other way. Thank you. It's all right. Mini market maker, eh? So what I'm trying to say to you all is this. If you are presented with an opportunity to make money off Bitcoin, right? Take it. Because if Bitcoin's going to be around and you can't break Bitcoin, you can't do nothing with Bitcoin, okay? Darling, don't cry. Darling, no, it's all right. Don't, I love him all, don't. It's all right. No, it's cool. It's cool. Everyone's fine. Don't worry. It's cool. Yeah? If Bitcoin, right? Right, okay. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. The 5 EMA right now is showing prices trading below it. For the holders, this is where it gets a bit critical, okay? You see these 3 candlesticks here. The first candlestick was above. The next candlestick, which is the confirmation if this is going to be the proof that they're going to go higher, found a little bit of weakness, okay? So what are you waiting for? If you were buying in this candlestick, you'd be thinking that the next candlestick's going to confirm that the move to the upside is going to sustain itself. So if any holders were spot trading in this region, they would have been able to capitalize on a nice little flavorsome move from 99 to 102. If you're not happy with the 3.5 grand move on Bitcoin, then okay, that's fine. But looking at what's going on with Bitcoin here, now I understand there are dudes that want the longer time frame. I get it. I get all of that. But for a holder right now, the 5 EMA right here, if price does stay below this range going into the close tonight and it closes below the 5 EMA, just the 5 EMA, the next candlestick that opens is going to reveal if whether or not they are done with this range. Because if you look to the 1, 2, 3, 4 candlesticks, Bitcoin has not managed to succeed itself above this 101. And that's a little bit of a problem. So this could be an opportunity for you to grab Bitcoin on a discount. It could start rolling over, maybe. Or it could just shoot up again. There's no problem, okay? So just take that into consideration. Right now, everyone's now going to sell the idea that Bitcoin's going to keep going, keep going, keep going. With this week, it might be a bit tricky, but hopefully it's not. Why? Because we've got CPI data coming out and they're expecting it to come up. They're expecting core CPI to come up. That CPI data right there, 2.7%. That's brilliant. We want inflation to go up. But then that means that the Federal Reserve is going to be unlikely to cut the rates. Wrong. They're expected to cut the rates in December, and they're going to cut the rates by 25 basis points. They're going to keep it short and sweet. Looking at what's going on across the board, you can see the name exposure index, which shows you how many active money managers are in the markets or not. You can see right now we've had a little bit of a sharp cut right there to the downside, okay? So that means it could be taking off risk. That would probably make sense with the way NASDAQ could be behaving right now, given that it's down 0.44% for the day. Maybe money's coming off the table. Maybe they're going to mark everything down and then bring it back up for CPI because it's going to be bad news for the dollar. But we're still going to get the rate cuts. Happy days for the marketplace. Yeah? Remember, guys, we're going into a very interesting month. Very interesting month. Core CPI data coming out. Then you've got the monetary policy refinancing rate with the euro. Okay? And then after that, guys, we have got the best week in the game. We got Bank of Japan's interest rate, and we've also got the FOMC. So if you are new to this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are liking, make sure you are subscribing, because the FOMC is the biggest live stream that we do. And from now until then, I want to know what you guys would like me to wear just to be part of the festive spirit of Christmas. No gimp suits, nothing crude. Just give me some flavor. What should I wear? I wore the Grinch outfit last time, and then I wore Santa's outfit last time. So no birthday suits either. Okay. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Any questions? Tino the Bear spreading the FUD again. I'll spread. Big Bear Tino spreading that risk management again. Does the Blackrock ETF act? Hey, here we go. I got a question. Does the Blackrock ETF act directly on behalf of their clients' wishes, or do they buy and sell at their own discretion? BlackRock make their money on the actual revenue that they generate from people purchasing the ETF, because BlackRock doesn't hold the ETF. It's authorized participant of it, but they are effectively done by the ETF vault, for the better word. Okay, they have a transfer agent that purchases it on their behalf, and they are authorized participants. No bank is allowed to hold crypto, okay, in the United States. That's what Michael Saylor was talking about. He was saying to everyone, look, man, what's the alternative for someone? The 401k guys, what can they do? They can't do anything but buy the ETF. Banks can't buy it. They can't buy Bitcoin, so they go to the ETF in principle, okay? Any other questions? Why are you so bearish near Christmas, bro? Guys, you're all starting to wind me up. You really are. What else have we got? Any other questions, guys? Elf outfit? Nah. No. Tino, do you recommend hedging long positions with shorts and vice versa? Yes, I do recommend doing that. But you have to be active with it, and you have to make sure that you're using the right size, because you can get in a little bit of a tricky situation when you are trying to hedge. You ideally want to be doing this when it comes to a hedge, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Hypothetically right now with Bitcoin, let's imagine, okay, that you managed to take let's imagine you took a long on Bitcoin from this 84,000 region, okay? You've now witnessed Bitcoin go to 99,000. You're in the premise that you think Bitcoin's going to be coming down. So realistically, you want to be opening trades of a short, for example, on Bitcoin to potentially try and, well, only make a small movement in reality, because you don't really want to be compromising the long that you've got. But the idea of a hedge is this: to use a specific amount of size that won't shake you out unless it really goes against you. Try and capture the momentum in the direction that's opposing your original position. And if you do manage to capitalize on it, make sure that you're taking money off the table with it, because you can scalp pretty frantically when you're hedging. You can, but you have to be in a profitable position first, because technically speaking, the profit from the original trade is making it possible that your entry on the next position, which is the hedge, is free of charge. You just don't want to make your loss of the second trade overcome the existing profit that's already in there. So if you are in a position to hedge and you've already got profit in the chart and you want to take advantage of price going in the opposite direction of the hedge, make sure that you are taking profits all the time. Because as you're taking profits all the time, you effectively are in a position to do what? With those profits, add to the existing trade that you have on the premise that it's going to continue in your favor. Okay? So to put it into perspective, you've got something like this. You take a long from here, Bitcoin goes up. Okay? Now it comes back down again. You think it's going to keep coming back down. So you take a short from here. Okay? Hypothetically. There's your short. Price comes down. Then you notice that it's now starting to probably come back up again. Okay? So then what you do is you close off the position that you've got. Now you then sense it's going to come back up again. What do? You add to this position right here. Moves up your entry ever so slightly because you've used the money from the profit of the short to load up into the existing position that you've got. What happens from there? Bitcoin then continues with its narrative even more. It moves to the upside again. Guess what? You think Bitcoin's going to come back down again because it's managed to clear out the previous time that you went short from. It then comes back down again. You're running shorts on this. You're then thinking, okay, I better stop with this short right now because I think it's still going to continue to the upside. What do? You take the profit from the short and then you add it again to the existing long. Price comes back up again. And then you just keep on doing this on the premise that you were in a trend that favors prices to the upside. Just gets a little bit tricky when price does all come, all the way back down again to your long, and you're like, damn. Then you have to play the break-even game. At what point do you get out? At that point, your fees are going to smack you in the face, but never mind. Lockski, man, mad love and respect. Thank you very much, my friend. Okay. Any other questions? Tino, big man. Can I become a millionaire in this Bitcoin cycle? Yeah, when you sell your Bitcoin. That's the truth. The truth is, guys, and you know what? I say this and I will finalize it for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. You don't make money in crypto holding the crypto. You make the money by selling the crypto and playing the game. All right? Too many guys that went long that had bought Bitcoin and it rode all the way to 67,000. And then for the best part of a year and a half, it continued to drop. Don't you think they're having that question with themselves where I should have taken money off the table? I should have. I could have been buying Bitcoin at a discount, but because I was in a drawdown from the last high of 67,000 and I'm holding on because I don't want to lose this position, you've just missed out on a fat opportunity to buy Bitcoin at a discount. So the question really is, if you're going to try and aim to become a millionaire off the Bitcoin crypto cycle, right now, guys, looking at Bitcoin from this point, we would need some massive adoption in Bitcoin, something to move markets aggressively to warrant Bitcoin to continue from this point and even higher. For the market to really get back into the swing of things, we need to see some consolidation. And we're going into two major events in the market: Bank of Japan's interest rate, and of course, the FOMC press conference, and then of course, anything that goes into the Santa rally of the start of the new year, if we do get a rally. Because to be honest with you, we've been rallying. Like, what rally is this? Let's be honest now. What rally is it? There's not no Santa rally. It's just an all-year everything rally, and that's being thrown around across the board. Okay? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please consider your positions, all right? I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to come back down and it's going to crash to the depths of hell. There's nothing wrong with that. You're getting it cheaper. Is that bad news? Okay, it's bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Do not sell your Bitcoin. Hold on to it. Do the Michael Saylor. Do the Michael Saylor and just watch Bitcoin go up and down, because quite frankly, you'll never sell it and you'll never make any money off it because you'll never sell it. Be Michael Saylor. Get some.